Today, I'm only a stone's throw from London in a county renowned for its world-class country homes and gardens. And I'm lucky enough to be standing in one of the jewels in the crown. What is it and where am I? Find out in just a moment. In today's show, I'll be trying to help a couple with big ambitions.
I feel slightly confined still.
I feel like a giant.
But our mystery house could be head and shoulders above the rest.
Is this more you need? Definitely.
Yes!
It is bigger.
We finally scored on bigger. Welcome to Surrey and the Royal Horticultural Society's flagship garden at Wisley. Now, with such an abundance of woodland, wildlife and world-class attractions like this one, in many ways, Surrey really does typify the very essence of the traditional English landscape. And it's no wonder it's an ever-popular destination with city dwellers looking to start a new life in the country. Covering an area of 642 square miles, Surrey stretches from Hampshire in the west all the way to the border with Greater London in the northeast. The county's countryside is naturally beautiful and, due to a lack of intensive farming, extremely rich in wildlife. Divided in two by the chalk ridge of the North Downs, there's not only 140 square miles of woodland, but also hundreds of acres of heathland too. Enough to keep the most avid rambler on their toes. Surrey has long been a favourite with the elite and enjoys a reputation for being a sought-after retreat amongst wealthy Londoners. It's no wonder that such a desirable location is also the most expensive county in which to buy a property in the whole of the UK. Despite the sky-high prices, there are still some bargains to be had. Now, the average house price in Surrey is £290,000. That's £100,000 more than neighbouring Kent to the east and £80,000 more than in Hampshire to the west. That means it's in these border regions where the best bargains are to be had. But there are a vast array of properties on offer. You've got everything from picturesque timber-framed homes to grand late 18th century mansions, a handful of Georgian and Victorian properties, and a vast array of more modern homes. So there really is something to capture the imagination of just about any buyer. So let's take a look at what's out there. For £335,000, you could be living in this Grade 2 listed 3-bedroom cottage in Red Hill. It's been sympathetically modernised and renovated throughout, with beautiful exposed beams and a magnificent inglenook fireplace in the sitting room. Or there's this attractive 3-bedroom Victorian property in Walton-on-the-Hill. Part of a converted mansion, it dates back to the 1880s. All the rooms have been tastefully renovated to a high standard. And the large rear garden includes a private woodland. The whole package will set you back £575,000. Or for a budget-busting £800,000, this former coach house and grounds in Salfords could be yours. It offers generous accommodation combined with the character of a period building, a good mix of old and new. Today's buyers are ready to escape the commotion of the city, so let's meet them and find out why they think Surrey might be their ideal rural retreat. Meet Brian, a film producer, and Melissa, who runs her own interior design business. They've lived in their South London home for the last 10 years, but they've had enough of life in the big smoke and are ready to give it up for the lure of the countryside. Their daughter Amelie will soon be old enough to go to school, so they're keen to find the right educational establishment, which is also close to Melissa's family.
We're looking to move to Surrey because it's that much closer to my mum in Somerset, so it'll be easy for me to travel to visit her, and also the schools are very good there for our daughter Amelie. And I think just the whole country life, we want the great outdoors, we do want walking, we want the fresh air, we want to be able to walk out of our house and see the fields, not lots and lots of cars.
So Surrey hits the spot, but London will still feature in their lives as Brian needs to commute to work.
I think we're looking for somewhere that's got local amenities. It needs to be close to a train station for myself, ideally, and for Melissa, as and when she needs to go up to town.
And I like the idea of village life and being near a community.
But with such a big move on the cards, not everything is clear-cut.
I'm definitely the dreamer of the family, where I want to always have that little bit more, but then Brian grounds me and puts realism in the picture.
With one realist in the mix, we should be able to keep their feet on the ground in terms of the wish list.
I would never consider buying a house with a thatched roof or a house with very small windows.
An old property with lots of character, but with a contemporary twist to it.
Big family space.
Big family space, lots of room, possibly a loft and a garage, so I can store my junk.
I run my own business, so having a study is really important to me, whether it's space in the house or a summer house outside, either would do.
This is my shed. I love spending time in it as much as I can when I can, and I must have this in the new property. My perfect property, to be honest, would be something similar to what we have, but on a bit of a larger scale. A detached house, ideally, with some woodlands, if that's available. Generally just bigger everything.
They also want at least 3 bedrooms. The buzzword for these guys has got to be space. But whether it's achievable all depends on their finances.
The budget for the next property would be £400,000. If we were to go to that amount, then that would basically mean that we would like to move in without having to do any work.
With Brian and Melissa's extensive criteria wrapped up in England's most expensive county, I think we might well have our work cut out. We're starting our house search in our buyer's preferred county, but because it's so pricey in Surrey, we'll also be border hopping into neighbouring Kent and West Sussex. All 3 counties have enough countryside to please the most demanding escapees, with gorgeous gentle hills and sweeping woodland. Our buyers are in for a treat with the houses we've got lined up for them, but as usual, I won't tell them what they're on the market for until they've guessed the price themselves. Then, of course, there's our mystery house, which is my chance to show them something that could turn their world upside down. Hello, good morning.
Pleased to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
You too.
Thank you for getting me across to Surrey. I've got to say, it's beautiful here. I've been sitting here, relaxing, taking in the bird song, looking at the wonderful view, wondering why on earth you'd want to come from London to here.
It is beautiful here, isn't it?
And it's not that far,
lovely.
is it?
No, it's close enough to still have your contact with the city life.
£400,000 is a very healthy budget. However, in Surrey, that's a bit of a challenge. So if you're going to make any compromises, and I hope you're willing to, where would you make those?
Well, we do need the 3 bedrooms. I do need an area to work, a study to work. Brian can always build a shed, so Brian can make the compromises as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And distance-wise, how about location?
What, from the shed to the house?
Yes.
A mile.
Location-wise, I think
I'm used to travelling. I can put up with an average an hour.
Well, it does open up the choice, and it means we've got a wider scope of areas to look at. Just have an open mind as we look
Absolutely.
around. You willing to do that with me?
definitely.
Great. Well, let's go look at some houses then.
Excellent.
Brian and Melissa have a budget of £400,000 to finance their rural dream. They want a detached property with at least 3 bedrooms, a large kitchen and a good-sized garden for their daughter Amelie. Location-wise, they need good local schools and a train station close by for Brian's daily commute to the capital. And all in the most expensive county in the UK. What's the saying? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. To kick off, we're in Surrey, Brian and Melissa's chosen county. The villages in this area are close to the M25, so have great transport links, but they've also got some of the most beautiful countryside in England. The popular village of Bletchingley has good amenities and is under an hour from London, so a practical option for Brian. It also has a respected school for young Amelie. Our first property is a characterful detached family cottage built in the 1920s. On the way to the front door, the winding path leads visitors through the well-established front garden. So here we are, the first house. Take it all in. What do you think?
I really like this front garden area. I think it's really pretty.
I like
really
it.
pretty. You get a nice feel for the house.
Yeah, I do. I get a nice feel first off.
Yeah.
I do like the first impression of the garden. It's nice to see Emily running around, and it's
And it's
pretty.
close enough
it really
to
is.
the rural aspect that the walks that we want anyway. So I
Lots
think
of good country
Yeah.
walks around here, but probably you've heard enough about all the things you can do outside.
Yeah.
Shall we have a look inside?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Come on. The attractive exterior has got us off to a good start. I hope the inside will follow suit. So this house, you come straight through into the living room.
This is nice. I like the big open fire.
It's a working fireplace.
fire,
Do you know, it was put in by a local craftsman when this building was first erected back in 1926.
It takes up a big part of the room, where it's one end of the room dedicated to the fireplace. It's nice, don't get me wrong, I love it. But I'm just thinking of everything else.
It's a cosy room. Can you picture this being your living room with your furniture?
I think it would work. I think it would work.
Right, let's have a look at the next room.
Okay.
Straight through the doorway is a homely dining room. So, what do you think of this space?
It's nice and light.
Cosy.
Yeah, I think cosy is the word, by which you mean small.
It's a little small because we're used to having all open plan, but you can get the feel for it.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
This room does just back onto the kitchen there, so a thought that I had is that you could take this wall away and open it up so you've got some open plan space.
That's definitely a possibility.
Well, let's have a look at the kitchen so you can see what I'm talking about. So, now you're in the kitchen, you can probably see why I was suggesting you might want to open it up.
I can see what you mean. It is quite small, but I wonder if you did knock this wall down, you'd lose a lot of storage space and where everything would move to. I can see you've got an area here that is workable. Not sure it's enough room for us to have
No, you
as
could
a...
utilise the space, but because it's under the stairs, it's not really that practical, to be honest. It's not big enough, I don't think.
Also on this floor, next to the dining room, is a WC. We've had disappointing responses from Brian and Melissa so far, so let's hope we can change the mood upstairs. Gorgeous windows up here, letting in lots of light.
Lots
I
and
think
lots
it's
of light.
brighter. Not the hugest of rooms.
Is this a master bedroom?
They're using it as their master at the moment.
I think our bed would take up the whole... We do have an
Yeah,
extra
we
large
have
bed.
It's huge.
Would you give up the bed?
No.
I wish I'd known that criteria before we started the search. Forget the local schools. We've got to find a house with a bedroom big enough for the bed. I'm a little concerned. Let's see if the next room fares any better. This is the other double bedroom. I think it's around about the same size, perhaps a little bit more storage space, a little bit more space this way.
Nice and light again. I like the windows, but it feels a bit enclosed for me.
Yeah, it's just too small.
I think we're too large for the house.
Yeah, I feel like a giant.
Next door is the family bathroom. And across the hall is a third room which could hold a single bed but is currently set up as an office. A perfect space for Melissa to work from home in. I'm hoping I can lift their spirits with a little surprise I have for them in the back garden. This is the garden space at the back. So you've got a little courtyard.
That's very nice.
But before we talk about this, behind you, I've got a man cave for you.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Is that about the right size?
It's perfect size.
Yeah?
For my little shed.
So something that's actually the right size in this property.
Yeah.
We've got a good tick box on the shed. Yeah. What about this being your garden space?
This is lovely.
I think it's a lovely outside space and it would completely satisfy our needs.
So the question is, of course, how much do you think you'd have to pay for this property?
Bearing in mind, I know we're in Surrey, I think this has to be on the budget, if not slightly above. So I'm going to say 400,000.
I must say 370.
OK. This one goes to you, Melissa, and you're still wrong. It's on the market at £410,000.
OK.
So a little bit above.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
I think that's what it's worth, really.
Well, the current asking price is just over budget at £410,000. And despite Brian and Melissa's reaction, it provides a good-sized family home for their money in highly sought-after Surrey. The living room boasts an impressive original fireplace, and upstairs there are 3 bedrooms. The back courtyard benefits from a sunny southwesterly aspect and also houses a man space for Brian. Location-wise, London is within an hour's commute, and there are good local schools nearby too.
I like the kitchen. I like the design of the kitchen, but I don't feel it's big enough for our needs.
Far too small. I mean, our kitchen at the moment is a centre of activity in the house, isn't it?
It is.
To be honest, it's where everything happens.
It's a hub of
Kitchen's shut
activity.
down. Yeah. And you wouldn't have that in here, sadly.
I think the first house is really pretty. The garden is ideal. I really think the garden is beautiful. I think that initially I was expecting to get more for our money, but I'd still like more space.
First impressions were nice. It's a nice feel to it, but it's like reverse effect of the TARDIS. You walk in and it gets smaller, and every room needs a lot of work to it, just to match our sort of taste, really.
That's it. So promising from the outside. Love the garden, but
Not quite enough space inside.
that's fine. We've got 2 more properties to see. I've not given up hope yet. Off you go.
Cool.
The North Downs in Surrey is designated as an area of outstanding natural beauty. For centuries, deforestation has taken place on the Downs. However, nowadays, thanks to the area's steep slopes and the curtailing of large-scale deforestation projects, much of the North Downs woodland still remains in all its glory. Indeed, Surrey is the most heavily wooded county in England. Over 22% of it is woodland. Being a woodwork enthusiast, Brian will be pleased to know there's still one very traditional woodworking skill that has stood the test of time. Earlier in the week, we sent Brian and Melissa to meet Richard Hobbs, a bentwood craftsman who's been in the trade for over 20 years. He's going to show them how this ancient skill should be done. Using 15-year-old hazel willows, Richard constructs a chair frame, which he then skillfully mounts with younger willow shoots.
And we would end up with one that looks more like this, which is what we're going to finish off. Are you up for that? You want a bit of drilling and nailing?
Yep.
Richard teaches bentwood furniture making all across the southern counties.
Come round this side.
Bentwood is a term used to describe furniture made by bending wood and letting it harden into curved shapes and patterns.
Lovely jubbly.
As it's an ancient craft, Richard believes in keeping machinery to a minimum. Using the length of his little finger for guidance, he drills a hole just at the right spot.
Tap that in there.
That there?
Yeah. Do that there like that. You can do your one.
Now all that's left is quality control.
That's my job.
You have the privilege.
Thank you very much. Oh, now that's comfortable. All I need is a cup of tea.
Brian and Melissa have helped to produce an eco-friendly chair. But for now, it's time to leave the woodwork behind and try to find a property that would work for them. How are you feeling having seen your first property?
I feel excited to see what else is in store, because there were parts of that property that I really liked, like the garden, but obviously the space was an issue.
Yeah, it's a shame really, because at the first impression it was really nice. And Yeah, it was detached. But sometimes you get pretty small detached, and I think that was a perfect example of it.
As prices are high in Surrey, to make their money go further, we're hopping over the border into Kent, where things are a little more affordable. Our second property is in the village of Groombridge. Just under an hour from London, it has a good selection of shops and is lined with period properties. But it's not long before you feel you're in the heart of the countryside. Well, after this morning, we wanted to show you something a little bit more rural. I think we've done that.
Yes.
You saw the open
yes.
fields over there.
Beautiful.
I like it.
Now, obviously, this time we haven't brought you to a detached house because it is attached. Well, how do you feel about that?
That's not a problem at all. I don't
Absolutely
feel it's a
fine with
problem.
that.
I'm going to say it's not just a semi-detached. It is attached to another property at the back. It used to be the old hot barn. It dates back to about 1850, converted in 1987. So, you know, you've got a couple of neighbours close by. But then that way, open fields, and that's a public footpath running through there.
See, that's beautiful.
You've got the lay of the land. What do you think of the property?
It looks nice from the outside.
I like the look of it, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you two have a track record of liking the outside of properties, and I know that what really counts is how much space you get inside.
Yeah.
So let's have a look.
Okay.
Brian and Melissa seem to be open-minded about this property, which is good news. Let's see if our first room puts a smile on their face. Knowing how important the kitchen is, what do you think of this one?
It's nice and light.
Views when you're washing up out into that open field.
That's beautiful. That is lovely.
And this way, although it is still relatively narrow, at least you do open up into the dining space, so you can get that feeling of your guests, you know, sitting there while you're cooking, and not shut
Definitely.
off. So space-wise, this is better.
Space-wise, yes.
Yes.
It's I feel slightly confined still.
Potentially, you could, I suppose, take this wall away and open it right up, have a different kind of space altogether. But to start with,
I like it.
they like it. I wasn't expecting that. I just hope they like the next room too. Now, second very important room, your study.
My office. That's nice. That's
This is
really
good.
nice. As an office, I like this.
Great. So more ticks.
Definitely.
Let's check out the living room. Silence.
This is quite smaller than I was expecting.
I don't know, I'm not too sure. I think something had to give in that respect. I don't think it's that small.
I think it feels a little bit smaller, but it's your living space where you kind of flop in front of the TV.
This is a very different cozier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's plenty to work with here.
Oh, most definitely.
Well, this is pretty much the downstairs. Let's go and have a look at the upstairs space. I hope you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Next door is a WC. And upstairs on the first floor, there are 2 bedrooms, a compact single and a more spacious double. There's also a modern family bathroom. But now, I'm hoping to reach new heights with our buyers. So as well as having 2 bedrooms and a family bathroom on your middle floor, up at the top, you've got this.
This is nice.
I like it.
I like the shape of the roof. I like being in the roof. I've always wanted a room at the top.
And storage space-wise, you can see you've got a couple of little cupboards here. But behind here, space, wardrobe space, and then out here a cupboard.
Yep.
Enough?
Yeah,
I think so.
for me.
For you.
Yes.
We might have to find that man cave for you and all your clothes get moved out there, I'm feeling. The downsizing includes your wardrobe space,
Yes.
I'm afraid. But what you do get up here is your own bathroom. A shower room through there, it's a bit of an ensuite.
I like the idea of that. I do like the idea of that.
Well, I like the fact that you both seem to like this house. And outside, we've even found a man cave for you.
That's a nice size.
I like this.
Look at the amount of space up in there.
I know.
That's great.
But I think this just could be mine only, and no one else's.
When it comes to space, who wouldn't be impressed by the length of the front garden, as well as the views of the surrounding fields at the back of the property?
This is beautiful.
That's lovely.
It's gorgeous. Silence, the fields, and right next to your house. But you've seen everything this house has to offer, and of course, the all-important question is, how much do you think you'd have to pay?
I'm going to say 395,000.
OK.
I think maybe a little bit less because we have come out to Kent. I think probably 375.
This is on the market at £395,000.
Okay.
Yes, we've come a little bit further out, but you can see you get a bit more for your money.
Yeah.
It has only been on the market for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it's a gorgeous house.
It is a beautiful house. It is a beautiful
It's
house.
lovely.
Now,
and the surrounding fields are
Well,
just, you know...
This is stunning. This really is. This is what we wanted. This really was, I suppose.
And that's the thought I want you to stick with. This is what
Okay.
we wanted. So go away, spend some time thinking about it. It's been a long day. I'll see you
Yeah.
later.
See you later.
There you go. She said it all. This is what we wanted. Yeah, I distinctly got a little bit of a hesitation there from Brian. 395 within budget, all the space they want. But I'm not sure they're happy yet. What else can we give them to tick all the boxes? Spread over 3 floors, this barn conversion is just within budget at £395,000. The kitchen and dining room offers open-plan style living, and the cosy sitting room has a feature fireplace. Plus, there are 3 bedrooms. This property isn't detached, but the semi-rural location provides spectacular country views and wonderful walks right on the doorstep. Plus, there are good schools for Amelie, and London is within an easy commute.
Overall, really like the place. Love the surrounding area. The property's nice. It's a lovely garden. Couldn't really ask for much more, just that little bit more space.
I think now that we've seen 2 properties, we've realised that what we need is a lot more than what we thought we needed. So we probably are more fussy and particular. We thought we'd be very easygoing and easy to please, but I think this proves that it's a lot more difficult finding the house that you actually really want.
As the evening draws to a close, it marks the end of the first day of our property search. With £400,000 to spend, Brian, a film producer, and Melissa, who runs her own interior design business, have their hearts set on a detached home with lots of space. But while house hunting in their preferred county of Surrey, we seem to have hit some brick walls, as the space they crave has been lacking on their budget.
I feel like a giant.
But the mystery house could well be the answer. Maybe, with just one small alteration.
I wouldn't change a thing in here.
Wouldn't you?
No. Why, what would you? I'd get you out of here.
After yesterday, I'd say that Brian and Melissa have been a little bit spoilt with the amount of space they have in their London home. And yesterday was really a reality check as to how far their budget will go in Surrey. So, for our mystery house, we're going to give them something a little bit different. They will have to be more flexible with their wish list, but it does deliver more space. And to do that, we've had to hop over the border again, but this time into West Sussex. Like Surrey, West Sussex offers plenty of countryside, but house prices here are considerably lower. Our mystery property is in the village of Ashurst Wood. Packed with pretty period properties, it also provides a generous helping of neighbourhood amenities. The train station is a 10-minute drive away, from where you can reach London in an hour. Plus, the local school is a convenient 150 yards from the property. Our mystery house has a very well-to-do neighbour, Ashurst Abbey. Formerly a school, this impressive building now houses luxury apartments. Set back a little is the Abbey's old stable block, which has also been converted into 5 properties, making Brian and Melissa's wish for a detached home a non-starter, but it offers more in other ways. The mystery house. Here it is. Get your very own clock tower.
Clock tower's beautiful. I really like that.
I like it.
Lovely, you like?
Yeah.
Good, good. Well, it's a mystery not because all of this belongs to you, but because this bit would belong to you.
OK.
So you'd be attached either end.
Well, it looks nice. I like the
I like it.
immediate feel of it. I like the kind of courtyard. Obviously, it's shared, but I like the look of that.
They like the shared courtyard, which is good, but it's the inside of this house that I think will be the real showstopper, providing them with the space they're after.
Oh, wow.
Ah, wow.
Now, I like this.
Encouraging sounds
What do
coming
you
from
think,
Melissa.
Dave? Look, you're getting settled already.
Prompting a taking off of the
It's a
coat
little
from
bit
Brian.
fast. Yeah. Oh, this is lovely. I really like it.
What are these original features,
Yes,
I
they
presume?
are. So this is where the coaches used to come in.
Oh,
So you've got original features,
excellent.
tons of space, high ceilings,
just what we wanted.
and it even delivers your fireplace. It's boarded up at the moment, but you can open it up and have a real working fire in there.
So it's a working chimney behind.
There you go.
Oh, brilliant. Just
I love the
full cap.
size.
I love the size and I love the height. It echoes my voice.
Does it echo your living arrangements back in London? Is this more
Yeah,
what you
it's
need?
big, definitely.
Is it? Yes!
It is bigger.
We
It is
finally
bigger.
scored on bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
Easily.
Right, we're on a roll. Let's keep moving. Fingers crossed this reaction continues, because we're moving on to the room that's been the major sticking point so far.
Wow, now this is the kitchen I wanted. This is mine.
Fine.
I had a feeling this is more what you were looking for.
Without a doubt, it's got all the workspace. It's also got the little bar area so people can sit there. It's got the room for a big fridge and lots of storage space. It's great, and the light coming in from those windows is lovely. I really like the way it's done. I wouldn't change a thing in here.
Wouldn't you?
No. Why? What would you? I'd get you out of here.
I personally would do one thing. I'd probably put a window in there.
I knew you would
Bigger
say that.
window.
Yeah.
You'd want a
A bigger
bigger window.
window.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having this as a sort of dining area here?
I think it's great for a breakfast area. I think it's fantastic, or a tea area. I think
Friends and family, no.
Not good enough.
All together at once.
Yeah. You need a bit more space
Yeah,
for
a
that.
little bit more space.
Good, because there's a dining room next door. Come on. Is this enough space for you
no,
two?
That's a lovely size. That's a really nice size. Space for the wine in the
Yes, or
fireplace.
again, you could open that up. It's
Okay.
opened up again. But if you
Oh.
wanted to put a working fire in here,
Yeah,
you could.
which would be lovely.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Like it.
Oh, I can see you really actually thinking about this one.
I'm thinking further down the line.
Let's have a look upstairs. The open staircase creates even more light and offers a wonderful view of the living room with that high ceiling. Let's hope what I show them next is roomy enough for them too. Now, this is the master bedroom.
That's a nice size.
I think you should be able to fit your big bed in
Well,
here.
they've got a big bed, so that's good to see. And I love you've got the two sides of windows, which is great.
I'm judging how much you like it by how quiet you've gone, Brian.
There you go.
I'm never quiet.
Yeah, you're right there, Denise, definitely.
Up here, there's also another double room that's made up as a children's bedroom. And there's a family bathroom. But this house keeps on giving. Up another flight of stairs, there's even more on offer.
Now, this is really pretty. I really like this. I think it's lovely. It's lovely and light. I love this wooden arch. I like the features, this little original cupboard. It's very pretty, and the lovely light, lovely and light.
Not only do you get all this space, though, you also get an ensuite.
Oh, wow. That's a really nice size.
It is.
If this is the guest suite, then it's ideal for them to have their own bathroom. So it's got a really nice feel because it's light but cosy, but not cosy as in tiny. It's just right.
So you two have lots to think about now.
Yeah.
Just hope it's affordable. Be nice
That's
if
the
it is.
question.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of things to do if it is.
You're getting me quite excited, I've got to say, because I can feel how much you like this property. So come on, let's go downstairs. You can have a bit of a wander round and I'll wait for you outside.
Okay.
The communal courtyard is pretty, but will the ample proportions inside compensate for the lack of space and a rural aspect outside?
So it's a beautiful outside space. It's just whether we can live with the close proximity of having what would be our garden is the access points for the neighbours.
Well, it's what we're prepared to sacrifice,
Well,
really,
exactly.
I suppose.
What do you feel about not having a shed as such? Because you have always had that to get away from me.
I can live with that, I suppose.
Do you think?
Yeah. Overall, the size just grabs me and, squeezes me.
come and take a seat. We had time to have a little bit of a wander round.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah?
we have. We've had a good look round.
And now you want to know how much you'd have to pay, right?
We do. That is
Yeah.
the question that we really actually want to know now.
Curious now.
OK, so who wants to go first with the guests then?
Ladies.
I think it's a little over budget, but not too much because of the outside space. So I would say 410.
I'm going to go a little bit higher and say 430.
Well, the bad news is that this property was on the market at £475,000. But that was in July last year.
Okay.
Since then, and recently, they've dropped it down to offers of 400,000 and over, which
Okay.
brings it back into
With-
your realm.
That's interesting to know. That's very
indeed.
interesting to know.
I think we're going to have a think about this one.
Yeah.
So let's just go away. You two have some time on your own,
Yeah.
and then we'll have a chat about it, this whole journey.
Yes.
See where we get to.
Okay.
Right, let's go. This character clockhouse property comes in at the very top of Brian and Melissa's budget at exactly £400,000. But for that, they get a splendid, spacious interior with high ceilings and superb period features set over 3 floors. The continental-style courtyard is communal with 2 neighbours on either side. On the upside, it's located in the grounds of the impressive Ashurst Abbey. But will the interior space and setting be enough?
I really love the house. I think it's beautiful. I think the space is exactly what we want. My niggle is the outside space because the courtyard is all you've got and it's communal. Brian doesn't have his man shed. He said that doesn't matter. Does he really mean that? I've got to say, because he does like to get away from me.
Absolutely amazed. It was really nice. The house is a lot more than we expected. There's definitely a bit of a wow factor there, without a doubt.
Brian and Melissa's favourite county is Surrey, stealing their hearts with its wonderful wildlife and countryside. English Heritage has a staggering 42 gardens of national importance located across the county. Today I'm visiting one of the most renowned, the Royal Horticultural Society's gardens in Wisley, which is a centre of expertise for botany, entomology and soil science. I'm meeting up with the curator and head gardener, Colin Crosby, to find out more. Hello, Colin. I think I'm meeting someone with the best job in the world. It's got to be. Curator at Wisley.
It really is. I always say I get paid to indulge a hobby. Wisley's a fantastic garden, 240 acres of inspirational horticulture. Can it offer someone to everyone who comes through, whether it be a beginner or a keen gardener.
Tell me about this magnificent building behind us.
Now, science is very important to the RHS, and here we've got a purpose-built laboratory, and behind it there's all lots of scientific experiments that are taking place.
Is that something that's always been part of Wisley's history, or is it something that's happened over the years?
Scientific research and educational work has always been part of the RHS, and especially here at Wisley.
The gardens were given to the RHS in 1903, but research into horticulture and biodiversity didn't start until after 1913. Today, the gardens aren't just enjoyed by visitors, they're like a living laboratory and are studied by scientists who work here. The cathedral-like glass greenhouse covers an area equal in size to 10 tennis courts and has 3 climatic zones recreating different habitats. People flock here to soak up the splendour of the plants and receive top gardening tips from the expert staff on hand. Guy Barter is the head of scientific research and an expert on biodiversity. Hello, Guy. I was told I was coming to a science lab, but this is very different to any laboratory I've ever been in. What are you doing here?
We're doing this experiment over several years to see which plants we can recommend to gardeners if they want to have more wildlife and biodiversity in their gardens.
Guy and his team are trying to discover which plants attract the most diverse range of wildlife possible.
The gathering of the data is an absolutely enormous task. We're counting the amount of leaf area, we're counting the number of insects as well.
And how unique is this experiment across the world?
As far as we can tell, no one has done anything quite like this before on this scale or for this length of time, and certainly not for gardens.
I look forward to finding out the results in maybe a couple of years. Anyway, nice to meet you, Guy. I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you.
Now it's time for me to find out the results of our own research and see if any of our properties caught Brian and Melissa's eye. Well, we found a spot for you guys to sit down and enjoy this gorgeous countryside. It's been a bit of a journey. I mean, let's just reminisce, take ourselves back. And we started right in the heart of Surrey, and I always thought this would be a bit of a challenge for us. Your budget's great, but in Surrey, it's tricky.
So.
Yeah. So what were your first thoughts when we took you to that property?
I loved the garden. Small, manageable, but perfectly formed. It was
Yeah, the first
absolutely
impressions are brilliant.
lovely,
I really did like it. The house looked big and it was detached as well. That said, once we got inside, everything seemed to shrink.
So we tried to get you a bit more space. And to do that, we moved out across the border into Kent. What did you think of that property? Beautiful views over those fields.
I loved those views. I really did love that. And it was a very, very pretty house.
First impressions again, outside, fantastic. But once again, inside, it just seemed a little bit small with limited storage area.
There was very limited storage area, I felt, in that house, which, even though it was lovely, I just couldn't see our belongings in there.
So the mystery house into West Sussex, completely off script. It was attached, nothing that you were looking for. However, it did have the space.
The space was amazing. Is amazing.
It's not often that I don't have much to say. But when I don't say anything, it means I'm just thinking and thinking and really liked it. Much more than what we expected. Everything was perfect.
And some really unusual traditional features.
Yeah.
That were quite quirky, but loved it. Loved
if you could take, you know, the garden from the first house, the field and the garage from the second house, put it all into the third, perfect.
Oh,
but, you know, we can't.
It's always the house buyer's dream.
but the mystery house was definitely the wow one for me.
Without a doubt.
It was the first time I got a wow out of you.
Yeah.
So I was really pleased.
Yeah.
So that said, I think it's clear that was your favourite.
Yes.
Safe to say.
Without a doubt.
But how much of a favourite? How are you feeling about it? What are you going to do next?
Well, we're going to discuss it when we get home.
I think we need to do some talking about it because we're both very keen on it.
Yeah.
We've got to think about what we can do with the outside area. If we can enclose it more for safety for Emily and for our dog as well, I think that we may have got it right.
Definitely.
I'm hopeful that this is the one and that you're able to make those little tweaks so you can get Emily out to the school of choice and you can all start your new life in the country.
Thank you so much.
It's been brilliant.
Excellent.
Really enjoyed it.
I'm really pleased for Brian and Melissa. I have to admit, I was a little bit worried at the beginning that they were going to be too inflexible with their wish list. But with the mystery house, they seem to be finally convinced to make that move. And it just goes to show that even in this expensive part of the country, a modest budget will still get you your very own rural retreat. I'll see you next time on Escape to the Country. If you'd like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/beonashow.